doing? It's your boy Mark of MindfulRealiTea, the channel that covers reality TV and life from a mental health perspective. I am here. Now, I gotta admit to you guys, I didn't sit here and watch tons of feeds. My feed time seems to be like 3 to 5 in the morning, and during that time, a lot of people are asleep. And maybe there's a few good conversations going on, but there's a lot of repeating themselves, and repeating themselves. I guess for them, it doesn't feel like they're repeating themselves because, let's say, Vince and who was Vince talking to when I had the feeds on? Morgan? No. Lauren. I think Vince was talking to Lauren when I fell asleep. So let's say Vince and Lauren are close and they catch up on things at the end of the day. So they had a conversation yesterday. And then from the conversation that they had yesterday, then they go around and have a bunch of different conversations with other people. Then they get back to each other and recap. But for us, the viewer, it's sometimes a whole lot of nothing. And that's really what I was getting yesterday. But I meant to come on yesterday night. That's the reason why I'm on here now, because yesterday night I just got really tired and decided not to. Hi, Tammy. So the new thing that has happened right now, Kelly won her individual power veto competition that she had to win before the ceremony. And then, so that means that obviously she's going to use it on herself and take herself off the block. So, as I was saying, everything is complete now. This week, what's his name? Jimmy had to nominate 5 different people. So he nominated his initial 3, which was Adrian, Keanu, and Kelly. Keanu and Kelly both won powers, and both utilized their powers, and both activated their powers. So 2 out of his 3 picks came off the block, and he had to now select 2 more picks. So out of 15 options that he had to pick, he had to nominate a third of them. This has just never happened before, especially at this point of the season. And there's still one power out there to be had, which is Mickey's, that we all know about. Okay, so we're getting rid of the M boys. Hold on. Do I have a mod on here? I don't know. I got it. Good morning, Ronald. So the 2 replacement noms. When Jimmy had to do his 2 replacement noms, the first replacement nom was Amy. The second replacement nom was Will. I don't like this. Okay, the Amy pick, right? I can understand wanting to pick off Amy because I feel like Amy kind of put herself in the Izzy position. You know, where they're like, we're not bold enough to take a shot at Rachel because we don't. You know what I mean? Like, Rachel's the person in the movie where if you shoot at them and they know you're shooting at them, you better get the kill shot. You better get the headshot, because if you miss or you hit their arm or graze their leg, you're a goner, because they hit with high accuracy, right? So they don't want to come for Rachel directly. So it's like, let's go for the people around her, and the main person that was her person was Amy. It was because Amy has been definitely talking about getting Rachel out. Amy, you know, I don't necessarily mind the Amy pick. If I was in the house, I need the Amy pick because it's the easiest one to justify and cause the least amount of waves, because they're still very early on in the house. So nobody's going to call you a snake, a traitor. Nobody's going to think that you're being a bully for making that pick. It's just an easy one, just like Kelly is an easy pick. Now, the Will pick, Will caught a stray. they always have somebody like that in the season. Like it brings me back to Brittany D'Angelo in season 23, or like those people who they're like, you know what? Even though I really like you and you're a pawn, I promise you I'm not targeting you in any kind of a way. I just have to put you up because it's harder to put anyone else up, because I have to find more of a justification. You're more of a, they won't say it like this, but it's basically like you're more of an outcast slash outlier. So me putting you up does me no different in terms of like the court of public opinion. So we'll cut astray. I don't like that. I mean, we knew that he was going up because Jimmy already told him that before Kelly even played the competition. Like, you're going up. You're not going to go home, but you're going up. So there's two sides to this coin. Alright. I need to get some mods on here, but it's okay. There's two sides to the coin. One side is I don't like the way that Jimmy is playing this HOH really soft. He has no beef with Adrian. You know what? Honestly, I feel like with making 3 picks, if he really wanted Keanu gone, which is what he said, he should have tried to backdoor him, because the powers part, he didn't know about the powers. So, they just told him about the powers when they started the HOH comp. But forget the powers, just in general, if you want to get out a potentially strong player, which Keanu, he's not a smart player, but he is a strong player, meaning like when it comes to comps, he has a good chance of winning comps. So when it comes to that type of player, and a player that's such a crash out player, there's levels of crash out to me. There's crash outs that are like really extreme and intense, like a Frenchie. He actually has had some of those types, except he's more put together than a Frenchie. He's less of a loose cannon. So he's doing the same thing, but he's not weird about it like Frenchie was. Standing behind doors and listening to every conversation and pacing around in rooms and saying these weird things to people. Like, he seems like a pretty normal guy. He's just playing the game super hard and super paranoid. That's what I would say. Oh, great. We got some traffic. Just a moment. Just one moment. Alright. I had to put on my GPS because there was an accident on the way to work. I hate when I leave at a time that 90% of the time would make me on time. And then I need to be on time. Then there's an accident. Gets in the way of that. What can you do? I'm gonna be a little bit late. Yeah, he is very paranoid. And he comes up with all these different theories all the time. What is my GPS doing right now? This is upsetting. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, that's what's going on with that. Morgan was having conversations with Vince. Mickey was having some conversations. Y'all keep saying that stupid stuff. Mickey was having some conversations. Hi, Shanna. Mickey was having some conversations with Ava. I don't know when that developed, but that's one of the last things that I was sitting up. He is flying under the radar, which he is, and how they think that one of the replacement noms, I mean, should have been him, which I tend to agree with that. Good morning. I tend to agree with that, but I also think that nobody was going to do that this early because, and then especially like you go for him and then he has all those ladies with him. Now all of a sudden, you have a bunch of people that might be targeting you the next week. So I don't blame him for not putting up Riley. I still just think that Will specifically was such a waste of a pick, because Will's not bothering nobody. Will's not a big move. The people they have on the block right now, they have Adrian, Will, and Amy. And sometimes you overplay, and this is what I mean by overplay. Somebody brought up to me the other day. They were like, "This is like Heism. It's like a Heism situation in BB25." And I thought about it, and I said, "Yeah, there is some validity to that comparison." And the reason I say that is because they were like, "Oh, we got to get out Heism," because whatever reasons they came up with for getting rid of Heism. But then you got to think, it's not just about taking out people that are not on your side or like weakening the other side. Amy and Will, I don't think are significant comp threats. Nor do I really even think that they're significant game threats, to be honest with you. Like, yeah, Amy wields some power because of being next to Rachel, but let's be real, if you're smart about things, which they're not, y'all as a collective could have just gotten together and said, let's get Rachel out the game and then reset the game. Like, you don't have to get out Amy. You don't have to get out Amy to weaken Rachel. Just get out Rachel. But I guess it's easier said than done, because when a vet and a winner gets an inch, they'll take a mile. When they get their teeth in the game, they're really unbelievably good with managing to keep themselves off of a block and to scare people and intimidate them into feeling like, you put me on the block, I'm getting off the block, and I'm coming for you. Do I believe the guys are in trouble this season? Not necessarily, because let's say they vote out Amy this week. Then it's going to be one guy and one girl down. And then what would the numbers be in terms of the guy-girl ratio? Because there was 17, now there'll be 15. 17. So did 17 make 9 girls and 8 guys? Okay, so if that's the case, then we'd still be one up. We'd still be one up on the guys. We'd still be one up on the girls, I mean. But the girls are not necessarily working together. So that's why I say the guys are not in trouble. It's two here, two here, two here. They're not necessarily like, let's all of us work as a united front to get the guys out. So it's not really. At first, I thought the guys might be in trouble, but I'm not really necessarily thinking that anymore, to tell you the truth. I would like if Amy won the Blockbuster too, because it would follow the trend of everybody's picks not going home. Like the main person that they want to go home not being an option to go home. Like, that's the reason why I liked Keanu winning that thing. What is happening here? Accident? Oh. Everything has to happen on the day that I was supposed to be on time. You know how frustrating that is? I'm so annoyed by that. Alright. The only person I believe, Zach is in a great position in this game. And Zach was one of the people I said would do well, and everybody kind of countered me. They're like, he's big and strong and good looking, and naturally people are gonna charismatic, and people are just automatically gonna be like, we don't want this guy in the game. But somehow, I don't know, he has downplayed his threat level to where everybody wants to work with him. He's got multiple final twos, final threes going. He's like aligned with so many different people, and he doesn't really have any enemies. So I think Zach is in an amazing position in this so far. Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Zach is in a really good position in the game. Good morning, Janet. Did I miss anything else? No. I still got another 8 minutes till I get to work. I was supposed to be at work 3 minutes ago, but I can't control the traffic. And it's so crazy because I can take the same route to work 20 times, and maybe out of the 20, 2 times there's going to be some kind of a traffic situation like this one. And today was one of the 2. And today we have a morning meeting. So when it's like, when there's no morning meeting, if I'm late, it is what it is, because there's no meeting. But when there is a morning meeting, they take attendance. It's noticed if you're not there, is what I'm trying to say. The only reason I say that is saying that the guys seem like they don't recognize this. No, I get what you're saying. Like, the guys are not paying attention to girls' numbers working together, but I don't think that the girls are really working together either. So, do I think that on this season it seems like the girls are smarter players than the guys? Yes. I was saying this the other day. It could be a thing where, as the numbers dwindle down, the ladies agree to work together by default, and then they end up having the voting power by having the majority. So it could be that type of thing. But as of right now, they're kind of hating on each other, the girls. Like Morgan and... who was Morgan talking to? Morgan and Ava were talking about how they don't like Ashley. They don't like Catherine. Catherine doesn't like Ashley. What other ladies are in the house? What are the ladies on the house? Who did I miss? Kelly seems to be more prone to Vinny. You know, she doesn't seem to be strongly working with any of the ladies. So I don't really see this shaping up like a guy versus girl season. It's at least thus far. Like, it could be, right? I think week 3. Wait, it started on the 10th. So it's been 11 days on the show, but 13 days, I think. Because I think they moved into the house on the 8th. What are we, the 22nd? 14 days. Today is day 14 for them. Thank you, Janet. Yes, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that notification bell. And if you don't get notifications from me and you've already hit the notification bell, hit the notification bell again to turn the notifications off. And then hit the notification bell again to turn it back on. Sometimes that refreshes I don't know what to call it, the algorithm. I've heard people say that when they do that, it notifies them better. But at the end of the day, YouTube just doesn't like me. So, although they did send me 30-something people this morning, most of them were trolls, but hey, a troll still gives me a cent or two. So we still have left Thursday Blockbuster, where one of those 3, Will, Amy, or Adrian, can take themselves off the block. I mean, I know the competition could be anything, but I feel like Adrian is at the highest likelihood to win out of those 3. Anyone could win. But I always say, like, if I had to put money on this, my money would probably go towards Adrian winning the Blockbuster comp. And then there's no more selections after that. It would just be the 2 people who are remainder. The House would vote on those 2 people. And that's that. And let's see. Oh yeah, just a reminder, I'm going to be at an event on Thursday evening. Like I said, I think this is going to be the very first eviction night that I have ever missed. I'm so sad about that. I can miss a Sunday. I can miss a Wednesday. I don't even care about missing those days. I care a little bit because I like doing this, but I wouldn't die if I missed those days. But missing an eviction night, tough. It's a possibility that I'm not going to do a live really, but I'm probably going to end up spoiling it for myself. Because I was thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to see the results later, and then I'll make a thing about it the next day. But then I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to do that. I'm probably going to end up checking the internet, seeing who won on the internet, and then watching the episode later to see, how everything played out. Just because I'm not going to be able to wait until the next day. And then the thing is with online and everything, I'm in Big Brother groups. I'm on a Discord that talks about Big Brother. I have Facebook friends that talk to me about Big Brother. So unless I go on a radio silence until I watch the episode and just say, oh, well, I'm not going to access the internet until I watch the episode, I'm going to find out anyways. What about you guys? What is your prediction for who you think is going to win the Blockbuster? Who you think is going to go home? My bets are probably on Amy going home, unless Amy, I don't think Amy would have the votes against Will or Adrian. I don't know if I'm wrong here, but yeah, I don't think that Amy would have the votes against Will or Adrian. I think that if Adrian was to go against Will, that's a tough one. Because nobody really has a reason to vote out Will. However, Will has less, they have less of a reason to keep Will, is what I'm trying to say. Just based on the landscape of the game, you know, I think that Adrian is just more valuable to people than Will at this point, I think. So I think that Will might go home against Adrian. Yeah, so I think if it's Amy against either of the guys, I think that Amy goes. And if it's like Will versus Adrian, I think that Will goes. And what's the other possible combination? That's it. I think that's it. Will versus Adrian. Yeah, the two guys against each other. One of them against Amy and the other one against Amy. Yep. That makes me sad. I want Amy to stay. So you think the same thing, Shanna? You think the same thing as me about Will? About Amy going against either of them? Yeah, Amy needs to get herself off the block. Like, to me, that's the only way that I see for Amy to stay safe in this game, is to keep herself off the block. That's the only way, in my humble opinion. I mean, that's an obvious thing to say. To stay safe, you got it. But she's the one who I feel like has the least chances of winning. Because like I said, she's the easy vote, right? She's the easy vote. No, I'm sorry. I didn't know that person was talking. I've far surpassed my quota, and I hate to sound like this when I say this, but I usually give money to people begging me for money once every few months. Maybe like 4 times a year. But the area that I work in has made me pass that quota because people beg me like 5 times a day. And I've already said yes to. Anyways, I gotta go. Talk to you later. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell.